Today on Freedom Journal Iraq, we show you urban warfare on Baghdad's Haifa street, and Iraqi security forces work together to secure the streets. Welcome to this edition of Freedom Journal Iraq. I'm Tech Sergeant Chris Vadnais. It's been called Grenade Alley and Purple Heart Boulevard. Haifa Street is one of Baghdad's most infamous urban battlegrounds. It's a 2-mile stretch just outside the international zone, and it's the scene of many major operations. Sergeant Holly Jensen takes us there with U.S. and Iraqi forces determined to secure the area and take out the enemy.
Deep in the catacombs of the Kark district, anti-Iraqi forces hide, waiting. As the sun rises over Haifa Street, they attack coalition and Iraqi forces. In an abandoned building, 1st Platoon, Charlie Company, 1st of the 23rd Infantry Stryker Brigade combat team sets up security. Their mission? Secure the area around them and take out enemy forces posing a threat to those on the ground.
There's like a little red thing in the window. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right below that, man.
At the corner? Okay, I see it.
If you peek your head up, Kish, yeah, there's a white building right here, right off to the left, and then you see how that wall right there, it goes brown right next to the white? You see what I'm talking about?
At times, it seemed like a game. Enemy fighters running the alleyways,
No, he's shooting into the right window.
getting lost in the cityscapes, trying to draw fire. This was no game, some would find out.
You got him!
This was the second time these soldiers have fought on Haifa Street in the last 2 weeks. And most likely not the last. Until then, they sit, ready to take out the enemy whenever duty calls.
The numerous forward operating bases in Iraq provide coalition forces with a reasonable degree of security. But Multinational Force Commander General David Petraeus believes it's time to take the fight outside the FOBs and into the rural and urban areas. Sergeant First Class James Lilly introduces us to a team of soldiers who provide the security necessary to accomplish successful civil affairs operations in Iraq.
Members of the 1st Cavalry, 2nd Battalion, 82nd Field Artillery get to see parts of Iraq that most service members living on forward operating bases only see on television. Even though they are a field artillery unit, their mission here is to patrol the villages and towns around LSA Anaconda, and when the need arises, escort coalition forces to these locations to provide humanitarian relief or conduct civil engineering projects. Battery Commander Captain Andrew Short explains.
We're an artillery unit, and the soldiers and NCOs have done an incredible job of cross-training to do non-standard missions like this. We own approximately 100 square kilometers outside LSA Anaconda. The possible hazards we looked at today and assessed for today were VBIED, small arms fire, and a suicide bomber.
Escorting personnel to a potentially dangerous location presents multiple challenges.
Our first mission out here is, first of all, security. Making sure, security area, making sure it's safe for you guys to come in and do the job that you're supposed to do along with ours. The main thing is to build better relations with the coalition forces and the country of Iraq for the betterment of Iraq.
On this mission, the 2nd Battalion, 82nd, is opening the local medical clinic in the nearby town of Al Jamia for 1 day, so the residents can receive medical care. Local clinics usually had 3 major problems: security, doctors willing to work, and a reliable supply chain.
In order for this mission to succeed, first off, it's an Iraqi-run mission. It's an Iraqi doctor, Iraqi medics, and Iraqi medical supplies. And we just coordinate for the security, coordinate with the Iraqi Army and Iraqi police to escort the people to and from the site.
Although people in small villages need these services, a unit just can't show up and on the first visit set up an operation like this. You must first gain the confidence and trust of the locals.
Yes, we patrol here maybe 3 or 4 days out of the week, unannounced of course. Come in and secure the area, link up with the sheikhs, and we have them inform them that we're here. Not to harass them, but to help the village. A lot of things, honestly, that improved was and placement of IEDs and mortar fires towards the FOB, that's decreased dramatically.
By placing these types of projects in Iraqi hands and letting the local sheikhs manage them, members of the 2nd Battalion, 82nd Field Artillery are helping restore the Iraqi people's confidence in their local government. Reporting for the 210th MPAD and the 13th SCE, I'm Army Sergeant First Class James Lilly.
After the break, one Iraqi police, one Iraqi army. Sunni and Shia security forces are working together for Iraq. Stay with us.
I'm Frank Ash, the Command Sergeant Major for 3rd United States Army and the Coalition Forces Land Component Command, and I want to talk to you about sexual assault. Anytime one of our battle buddies is sexually assaulted, we've all been disrespected. You know, every time we go outside the wire, we trust each other with our lives. So why can't we trust each other inside the wire to show each other a little respect? Sexual assault is unacceptable. Let's stop it now.
For the regional headline update, we check in with specialist Charles McLaughlin at the news desk.
At least 60 Iraqis died when 2 car bombs exploded a short time apart in an East Baghdad marketplace Monday. The first explosion set 10 vehicles on fire and did extensive damage to nearby buildings. The second attack came just minutes later. U.S. and Iraqi Army personnel rushed to the scene and cordoned off the area. Members of Iraqi Emergency Services and Iraqi National Police rushed more than 100 wounded residents to the Al-Kindi hospital. Iraqi soldiers and coalition forces raided several buildings in northern Mosul last Friday. The raid was in response to intelligence pointing to a possible weapons cache. U.S. soldiers arrived on the site and began receiving small arms fire from the upper floor of an adjacent mosque. They managed to suppress the fire while Iraqi soldiers investigated. 10 suspects were detained, 5 of which tested positive for explosive residue. Troops also found millions of dinar, worth thousands of American dollars, and an underground storage room along with more than 400 fake identification cards. One suspect was detained in the northern compound, and a tunnel there gave way to a cache of ordnance and weapons. With headlines from around the region, I'm Specialist Charles McLaughlin.
One Iraqi police, one Iraqi army, one Iraq. That's the motto a new police school near Baghdad teaches as the two forces integrate and learn from one another. Staff Sergeant Eric Pahan shows us in order to graduate, Shia and Sunni students must work together for one Iraq.
A police school near Baghdad is using Iraqi army soldiers to train the country's police, a new concept which allows the two forces to interact and begin a working relationship with one another.
It's a new training for them with a professional way. And the IA has the big role in this training. That helps the IA and the IP to be one hand.
This is an Iraqi school built on an American model of police training. Everything you'd expect to see at a professional academy happens here, all designed to instill a sense of discipline.
Discipline is very important. We are helping them instill the values that are important to them to serve and protect the people so that they become quality police that the Iraqi people deserve.
The school currently runs only in daytime hours because it lacks basic facilities like bathrooms and a dining facility to be able to house students overnight. But it's still evolving. In fact, the first class here is only 2 weeks into the training.
In the training, that's going to create a good soldier for us. His performance will be different than before, and of course that will create a good soldier for us to do his duties and missions.
The school is the brainchild of a couple of American commanders and a civilian contractor who've worked to turn an abandoned side of an army post into a working police academy, all without added funding or logistical support.
We saw an opportunity. There was not a budget or a directive that told us to do this, but within the intent of training these security forces, we found the resources. They were laying around. We had the muscle to actually do the work and then the will to follow through and actually do the training.
Not all recruits will graduate from the police academy. This is done to instill a sense of accomplishment in the new graduates. That roughly translates to 1 Iraqi police, 1 Iraqi army, 1 Iraq. From Balad, I'm Army Staff Sergeant Eric Pahan, Task Force Lightning.
Tune in to the next FJI when Specialist Justin Putz takes us on a door-to-door hunt for insurgents.
When clearing a house, it all starts with a door and the unknown.
I'm not thinking about, you know, maybe there's a guy over here, maybe there's a guy over here. Every single room I looked at, I thought there was a guy in it.
And that does it for this edition of Freedom Journal Iraq. Tune in next time for more stories from the front lines of Operation Iraqi Freedom. From all of us here at AFN and Freedom Journal Iraq, stay safe out there.